environment can be exhilarating and challenging at the same time. And it's important to know where your challenges lie in, what area they lie in, and where they come from. So high pressure environments, they everywhere at this time. They increasingly become a norm in the corporate world and in businesses. In the pursuit of career growth, ticking all the boxes like KPIs, staff trainings, growth, sales, relationships, and you name it. It's easy to lose track of where the pressure is coming from so we can effectively start dealing with it. This podcast will reveal two major pressure points that many of us overlook. Many of my clients and many women in my network reported that they never looked at pressure at work from these 2 points and taken them in account. So tune in and get your pen ready in case you want to take notes. Um, my name is Angela Cox, and this podcast is for anyone in the workplace, in the business, who enjoys dynamic businesses and who prides themselves to work well under pressure. Businesses these days are fast paced, and the complexities and demand of business often creates a high pressure cooker environment for people. So we get engrossed, we get consumed by the tasks, by the projects. So we just keep going, keep achieving, and so on. And it could be challenging for both staff management and then becomes kind of a problem trend in the company overall. So I hear from many of my clients that work is busy and tense. That's what I signed up for, so I'm not complaining. Okay, if that sounds familiar, listen up closely. That this is what I signed up for. I'm not complaining. I just have to suck it up. Being responsible for your choices and decisions is great. Um, it's quite growing up of us, and the ways we use and strategies we use to deal with these key moments, key pressure points, is very important. Um, we feel that because we signed up for it, because this is the role we chose, we completely have to deal with this stuff on our own. So, what do we do when the pressure is rising, when the pressure is growing? We rise up to a challenge and we deal with pressure at work best as we can, often isolating ourselves. So, isolation and believing in the fact that we have to face the challenges on our own is our number one mistake that many people make. Um, and this can only lead you to get overwhelmed, really. It is important to note that when we begin to get overwhelmed, we are unable to differentiate where the challenge or the pressure or the problem comes from. So I want you to pay close attention to these words, okay? We believe that we have to face the challenge on our own. And that is 100% correct statement. We face our challenges on our own. But how you deal with the challenge and where and when you develop the strategies how to deal with the challenge is completely entirely up to you. So therefore, you can go off, you can notice the blemishes or gaps in your leadership or gaps in how you deal and handle high stress and pressure environment. You can go off, develop your strategies, revisit your strategies, your approaches, and so on, and come back and apply these new tools and strategies and approaches and deal with, face your challenges on your own, but do it in completely different, effective way this time. So you go off and you reflect on the stuff that's going on with the strategist, with the coach, with your trustee who has potent professional um, professional approach, who has potent ideas and true reflection without agenda, true reflection of what's going on and how you approach your high stress and pressure environment and can help you with it. You work with this person, you get your strategies ready, and then you go back and you face and present yourself in work environment with this new approach. So this is the really big gap I see many people tell me about, that they never really understood that isolation can play such a huge part in how we deal with high pressure and high demands in businesses and our roles. So you deal with the challenge by sharing it, reflecting and working on it with a coach, strategist, trustee, so on. After you get the reflection and develop new strategy behind the scenes, then you face the challenge with a different perspective and solution on your own. Your renewed outlook will guarantee you a positive outcome. The mistake number 2 is our failure to recognize that the pressure we are under in work environment, first and foremost, it comes from ourselves. So the pressure we're under at work, we need to kind of balance or even recognize. Is this all due to high tension, high volume of work, high tension environment at work, KPIs, whatever, fast-paced business? Or is it part in this high stress and high pressure environment? Is it part of it that there is a pressure I put on myself in order to fulfill this role, in order to lead my team, in order to do everything perfect and correct, in order to meet my KPIs, meet my targets, meet my sales, and so on and so forth? So is it all about business, or is there a big chunk of it that I put that pressure on myself? I put myself under that stress and pressure to get it all right. So there is a big difference. So also worth noting that although the initial pressure comes from business, and I do get it, I hear so many women tell me, listen, it is what it is. The business is fast-paced. I absolutely love the dynamics. I love the challenge, but it does get too much, right? And we do realize that initial pressure comes from the business, right? It's worth our while to just take a step back and see, does that pressure spill out into our personal life? Very few people who mastered that skill of having work at work and coming home absolutely zen, refreshed, and free from the challenges and from the conversations, from everything that's going on at work. Okay, when our personal life begins to mirror our work environment, so when the pressure merges and spills and travels from one area to another, we simply can't differentiate where initially it came from. It's like a question of a chicken and an egg. You just don't know anymore whether my personal life created complications for work, or whether is it work created complications, or some high stress or high pressure environment for my life. So it all becomes very unclear. To sum up this mistake, when we place our efforts to fix our external pressures, neglecting the pressure we put ourselves under in order to finish the project, to fulfill the role, and so on and so forth. We're setting ourselves up for a very, very stressful ride that can impact our projects and impact our career growth and teams and you name it. And even our personal relationships. It can only impact negatively if we fail to recognize that there is an external pressure and there is pressure we put ourselves under in order to fulfill the role or and so on. So this podcast revealed two major mistakes people make and people overlook. It's simply overlooked two things on our behalf that can impact our career greatly and can impact how we progress and how we deal with high pressure and how we sail through this high pressure environment in order to achieve something that we set ourselves to achieve. There are few more steps involved into this process. So if you really want to nail it for yourself and learn those steps and absolutely never again look at high pressure environment in the same way, I encourage you to DM me right now a word solution. I have 3 spots for people to talk to next week, and I'd be delighted to hear from you. My inbox is always open. My DM is open to hear from you and help you to develop that solution for yourself, which is tailored solution for you, because everyone is different. Everyone has different approach, although the problems might match kind of some sort of a templates. We all have our own different unique approach to how we deal and how we conquer. So 3 spots for 3 people for next week. Please get in touch and book your call with me, and I'd be delighted to support you in your career growth. Chat soon.